What if the biggest obstacle between you and success is not your lack of talent, money, or opportunity, but a belief you've been carrying for years without questioning it? A quiet voice that says, "I'm not good enough. It's too late. People like me don't succeed." These thoughts don't shout, they whisper, and that's why they're so dangerous. Today, we're going to expose those beliefs, break them, and replace them with a mindset that unlocks your true potential. Stay with me until the end, because one of these lessons could completely change the way you see yourself and your future. Lesson 1. Identify the belief that's holding you back. The architecture of the human psyche is built upon a foundation of narratives, many of which were drafted long before we had the conscious agency to edit them. To begin the journey of transformation, one must first become a meticulous observer of their own internal landscape, acknowledging that you cannot dismantle a prison if you cannot see the bars. Limiting beliefs are the invisible scripts that dictate the boundaries of our potential, often masquerading as objective reality or common sense. They are the quiet whispers that tell us we aren't the type to succeed, that we lack the inherent talent of our peers, or that our past mistakes have permanently capped our future value. Identifying these beliefs requires a radical level of honesty and a willingness to sit in the discomfort of self-reflection, peeling back the layers of our habitual reactions to find the core assumptions driving them. Most of our limiting beliefs do not arrive with a warning label. Instead, they sound like the voice of reason. They use phrases like, "I'm just being realistic," or "I've tried that before and it didn't work," serving as a protective mechanism designed to keep us safe within the confines of the known. However, safety is often the enemy of growth. To identify these beliefs, you must start listening to your inner dialogue with the ear of a detective rather than a believer. Every time you feel a surge of hesitation, a pang of envy, or a wave of procrastination, you must pause and ask, what am I believing about myself or the world right now that is making this moment feel impossible? This question acts as a spotlight, illuminating the dusty corners of the subconscious where our insecurities hide. It is only when we name the beast that we can begin to tame it. Awareness is the first crack in the wall of your self-imposed limitations, and once that crack appears, the integrity of the entire structure begins to fail. We often move through life on autopilot, reacting to external stimuli based on internal programming that may be decades out of date. By identifying a specific belief, such as "I am not good with money" or "I am not a leader," you transform a vague feeling of inadequacy into a tangible problem that can be solved. This shift from being the belief to observing the belief is the essence of psychological freedom. You are no longer the person who can't do the thing. You are the person who has a thought that they can't do the thing. This distinction, though subtle, provides the necessary leverage to begin the work of deconstruction. Consider the weight of the stories you have repeated to yourself so often that they have become part of your identity. We frequently mistake our history for our destiny, assuming that because a pattern has existed, it must continue to exist. Identifying a limiting belief involves questioning why we have given certain narratives such immense power over our daily choices. Are you holding on to a version of yourself that was defined by a critical parent, a harsh teacher, or a childhood rejection? These shadow stories operate in the background, consuming mental energy and sabotaging our efforts before we even begin. To identify them is to begin the process of reclaiming that energy. It is an act of rebellion against the status quo of your own mind, signaling that you are no longer willing to be a passenger in a life driven by fear-based assumptions. Lesson 2. Question the truth of that belief. Once a limiting belief has been dragged into the light, the next crucial step is to subject it to a rigorous cross-examination, much like a lawyer would treat a hostile witness. We often treat our beliefs as sacred truths, forgetting that a belief is merely a thought we have decided to think over and over again. Just because a thought feels heavy or emotional doesn't mean it is rooted in fact. To question the truth of a belief, you must ask, where did this actually come from? Often, we find that our most paralyzing convictions were inherited from people who were just as lost as we feel, or they were formed during a moment of trauma when our perspective was narrowed by survival instincts. When you realize that your truth is actually just an opinion you picked up along the way, its power over your behavior begins to dissolve. Searching for evidence is the most effective way to dismantle a lie that has been masquerading as a fact. If you believe you are incapable of public speaking, look for the counter-evidence. Have you ever explained a concept clearly to a friend? Have you ever successfully advocated for yourself in a meeting? If you believe you are too old to start over, look for the thousands of individuals who launched entirely new careers in their 50s and 60s. Most limiting beliefs rely on generalizations and all-or-nothing thinking to survive. By introducing specific contradictory data points, you create cognitive dissonance. This dissonance is healthy. It forces the brain to realize that the old narrative is no longer a reliable map of reality, and thus it can no longer be trusted to guide your future actions. It is also vital to examine the payoff of holding on to a limiting belief, because we rarely keep things that don't serve us in some way. Often, a belief like "I'm not talented enough" serves as an insurance policy against failure. If you believe you lack talent, you have a built-in excuse for not trying, which protects you from the pain of rejection or the effort of hard work. By questioning the truth of the belief, you also have to confront the uncomfortable reality of what you are using that belief to avoid. Is it truly a lack of ability, or is it a fear of the responsibility that comes with success? Challenging the belief requires you to be honest about these secondary gains. Once you see the belief as a shield rather than a fact, you can decide whether you still need that protection or if you are ready to stand unprotected in the pursuit of something greater. Finally, consider the cost of continuing to believe the lie. If you allow this limiting belief to remain unchallenged for the next 10 years, what will it cost you in terms of your happiness, your finances, and your relationships? Often, the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the fear of changing. When you look at the evidence objectively, you will likely find that your belief is not a reflection of your potential, but a reflection of your past conditioning. You are not a static entity, you are a dynamic process. By questioning the truth of who you think you are, you make room for the truth of who you can become. This is the moment where the belief stops being a wall and starts becoming a doorway, leading toward a version of reality that is defined by evidence and logic rather than fear and habit. Lesson 3. Replace limitation with possibility. A vacuum in the mind cannot exist for long. If you remove an old limiting belief without consciously installing a new one, the old patterns will inevitably rush back in to fill the void. This is why sheer willpower often fails. It focuses on not doing something rather than becoming something else. Replacing limitation with possibility is about the intentional curation of a new internal narrative. You aren't lying to yourself. You are choosing a more empowering and equally valid perspective. Instead of the definitive "I can't," which closes all doors, you adopt the growth-oriented "I am learning how to." This simple linguistic shift changes the brain's chemistry, moving it from a state of threat and paralysis to a state of curiosity and problem-solving. The process of replacement involves shifting from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, where the focus is on the trajectory rather than the current position. If the old belief was, "I am not a creative person," the new belief becomes, "Creativity is a skill that I am currently developing through practice." This new belief is grounded in the biological reality of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. By focusing on possibility, you align your internal dialogue with the way your body actually functions. You begin to see your current limitations not as permanent defects, but as starting points. This shift in perspective allows you to view challenges as data points for improvement rather than indictments of your character. Possibility requires a willingness to embrace the imperfect start. Many people stay stuck because they replace a limiting belief with an equally paralyzing perfectionist belief, thinking they must be the best immediately. Real replacement happens when you give yourself permission to be a beginner. Replacing "I'm not ready" with "I will start imperfectly and iterate as I go" is a revolutionary act. It acknowledges that the path to mastery is paved with mistakes. When you view your journey through the lens of possibility, failure ceases to be a stop sign and becomes a feedback loop. You start to look for ways to make things work, rather than reasons why they won't. And this shift in focus radically alters the opportunities you notice in your daily life. To make these new beliefs stick, they must be reinforced through visualization and emotional engagement. It is not enough to simply say the words. You must feel the reality of the new possibility. What does it feel like to be someone who is learning and growing every day? How does that person walk, talk, and make decisions? By consistently feeding your mind with images and thoughts of potential, you begin to rewrite the software of your subconscious. This doesn't happen overnight, but through repetitive, conscious choice, the new narrative becomes the dominant one. Eventually, the possibility becomes your new default, and the old limitations appear as nothing more than distant, faded memories of a person you no longer are. Lesson 4. Take action before you feel ready. One of the greatest myths of personal development is the idea that confidence must precede action. In reality, confidence is the byproduct of action, not the prerequisite for it. If you wait until the fear is gone or until you feel ready, you will likely be waiting for the rest of your life. The feeling of being ready is often a luxury that growth does not afford. Taking action before you feel ready is the only way to prove to your subconscious that the fears you've been harboring are either exaggerated or entirely false. Action is the ultimate truth teller that cuts through the noise of mental hesitation, providing real-world data that no amount of thinking can replicate. Every small step taken in spite of fear serves as a piece of evidence that builds a new case for your capability. When you send that email, join GU class, or have that difficult conversation while your heart is still racing, you are teaching your nervous system that you can handle discomfort. This exposure therapy is what actually shrinks the power of a limiting belief. You don't think your way into a new way of living, you live your way into a new way of thinking. The momentum generated by a single small action can be the catalyst for a chain reaction of change. It is far easier to steer a moving vehicle than one that is parked. Once you are in motion, adjusting your course becomes an intuitive process of trial and error. There is a profound psychological shift that occurs when we commit to imperfect action. It lowers the stakes and reduces the paralyzing pressure of high expectations. When the goal is simply to move, rather than to succeed perfectly, the ego's defenses are lowered. This allows for a more playful and exploratory approach to life. You begin to see that fear is often just excitement without the breath. By moving forward with the fear, you transform it into the fuel that powers your progress. You realize that you don't need to be fearless to be brave. You just need to be willing to act while your hands are shaking. This is where true character is forged, in the gap between the impulse to hide and the decision to show up. Ultimately, taking action is the only way to build a life that is bigger than your excuses. Progress is a cumulative game, and the evidence you gather through doing will always be more convincing than the affirmations you say in the mirror. Each act of courage weakens the grip of the old, limiting belief and strengthens the neural pathways of the new, empowering one. Don't wait for a sign from the universe or a sudden surge of self-assurance. The sign is your own desire for change, and the assurance will meet you further down the road. Embrace the messiness of the start, trust the process of discovery, and remember that the most successful people in the world are simply those who became experts at moving forward before they felt prepared. Lesson 5. Surround yourself with growth, not doubt. Human beings are fundamentally social creatures, and our environment acts as a silent architect of our mindset. We are constantly, often unconsciously, absorbing the values, attitudes, and expectations of the people and information we consume. If you are surrounded by individuals who live in a state of perpetual doubt, cynicism, or stagnation, it will be nearly impossible to sustain your own growth regardless of how much internal work you do. To protect your new beliefs, you must be intentional about your social ecosystem. You need to curate an environment that reflects where you are going, not where you have been. This means seeking out mentors, peers, and content that challenge your limits and expand your definition of what is possible. Growth is contagious, but so is doubt. When you are with people who are actively pursuing their own evolution, their energy and perspective provide a natural lift to your own aspirations. They normalize the struggle of growth and celebrate the audacity of ambition. On the other hand, spending time with those who are threatened by change or committed to their own limitations will act as an anchor, pulling you back into the comfort of the familiar. This doesn't necessarily mean cutting everyone out of your life, but it does mean creating healthy boundaries and prioritizing relationships that nourish your potential. Success leaves clues, and by surrounding yourself with growth-minded individuals, you gain access to the blueprints they are using to build their lives. Your environment also includes the digital diet you consume daily. In an era of infinite information, you must be the gatekeeper of your own mind. Are you consuming content that inspires action, provides new skills, and offers deep insights? Or are you drowning in a sea of comparison, outrage, and triviality? The ideas you let into your head are the seeds of your future beliefs. By intentionally choosing books, podcasts, and communities that align with your goals, you create a constant stream of reinforcement for your new, empowering narrative. When your external world consistently echoes the possibilities you are trying to cultivate internally, the process of transformation becomes much more fluid and sustainable. Finally, remember that as you change, your environment must change to accommodate the new version of you. Sometimes this involves leaving behind old settings or social circles that no longer fit. This can be painful, but it is a necessary part of the shedding process. You cannot grow into a giant while living in a jar. By stepping into environments that demand more of you, environments where you are not the smartest or most successful person in the room, you force yourself to adapt and expand. When your surroundings reflect the growth you desire, your mindset naturally follows suit, and soon, the impossible becomes your everyday reality. You are the average of the inputs you allow, so choose the inputs that lead to the life you want to lead. Your future is not limited by who you've been, but by what you believe is possible next. The moment you break a limiting belief, you unlock a new version of yourself. Remember, you are not stuck, you are becoming. Start today. Your success is waiting on the other side of belief.